Orbison's
You're going to have a
cool.
whole slew of new songs to listen to on the way home, Katie.
I know, I'm so excited.
Roy Orbison singing for the lonely. Hey, it's me and I want you only. Let me see. Here. Let's see. Oh, here. He sang Blue Bayou. You'd like that one? K-Tel Records presents 7,000 songs by the great Roy Orbison.
I've heard this song before.
He'd always wear those sunglasses. I always thought as a kid, I was going, is he blind? He's like a white Stevie Wonder. K-Tel Records presents 7,000 8-track tapes, all for 1 cent. All right. Jim Talent, ladies and gentlemen, from the... Freedom, people. Well, Jimmy, we just happened to have the Jimmy Carafano in earlier this morning, and now you all both will be a team tonight at Forest Park and the Norman Probstein Golf Course Clubhouse there for Allman in the evening. Great to see you, buddy.
And with bells on our fingers, rings on our fingers and bells on our toes, we'll be there. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a piece of work. You shouldn't do these riffs before I come on. I'm laughing too much to the interview. I do remember those commercials so well. Oh my gosh. That's how I learned about 50s music. Because they would play little clips from like 15 songs in these things. And you're right, you could get them all for like $2.99.
Yeah, and it was always like, and they were like 5 minutes long, the commercials, and it was all like, and who can forget, blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
who remembers is better to ask.
Surely you remember blah blah blah, and who can forget blah blah blah. It was like went on and on and on.
Just imagine how many 8-track tapes are in people's basements, when they ordered those things.
Well, it's usually because like they'd ask Campbell's Soup to advertise for Ultraman and be like, no, we're not going to advertise on Ultraman. That's why they fill time with K-Tel Records. They do anything.
Yeah, and it must have been a good economic model because it went on for years and years and years. Somebody made some money off it.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, they were like selling like records in bulk. It was crazy. So
that's the only reason I knew who Patty Page was. She was on every one of those.
Right. I mean, listen, it was my first introduction to Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
For that matter. All right, so the spending bill now, Ann Wagner voted against it, and I know that there are people who put certain spins on it. I think in your wheelhouse, obviously you're satisfied, or maybe you aren't, but with the military spending aspect of this, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm glad that's in it. I always add to people, and I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here, but if we don't get rid of the sequester, the caps, there's no way to do the president's defense plan. I mean, we have to have more money. And the way the law is now, if you appropriate above the caps, it's automatically rolled back. So it doesn't matter what Congress actually appropriates. They have to pass a law getting rid of the caps for defense at least. So, yeah, but subject to that, I'm glad they put some additional money into an account that is not subject to the caps, and that's a good thing. But I don't want anybody to think that this is a major step forward for defense. It's better than not doing it. It was a good aspect of the bill, but it's not what we need.
Yeah. So and like if you were a senator today, would you? Again, the Senate is going to have to vote on this today. Would you approve it?
Yeah, I understand people who wouldn't. I really do. I probably would because. Given that we are it's one of those things, Jamie, given that we are where we are, it's probably the best we're going to get. And if it's disapproved, it's not likely to get any better. The more they have to go to get Democratic votes, the less likely it's going to get better. So I probably would. And this is a situation you're in a lot, where because of the overall framework that you're not changing, your options are only bad ones, and you have to choose among which is the least bad. So I get it, but what they really need to do is to get rid of the caps and do thorough budget reform, and then we can start getting some good bills.
Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, at some point, as you brought up, even with the North Korean thing, and we'll talk a little bit about tonight, is the missile defense initiatives that we need. You remember Star Wars, right?
That was missile defense.
Yeah.
And I say to people, well, can we have some missile defense now? I mean, the Obama administration invested in regional missile defense, which is regional systems around the world to protect particular theaters, and not in homeland defense. And so now they're reopening the bomb shelters in Hawaii. I mean, it's like, can we protect the homeland? Can we build a missile defense? It's one of the biggest failures of the Obama administration, which is saying something. And it's one of the many things we need to fund in the defense budget. I mean, the world is full of threats. They're growing, and we need to deter them, and we need a strong defense to do that. That includes missile defense.
Yeah, I would imagine, and ultimately, when the Star Wars idea came up, and I realized it was kind of a game being played to make the Soviet Union start to spend a lot of money on its own defense, and eventually it helped bankrupt the Soviet Union. But was that a doable thing? That whole Star Wars?
Yes, and in fact, elements of it have been put into place. It was a multi-layered ballistic missile defense. Now, the thing to remember about missile defense: it's non-nuclear. Okay, it's all conventional, and it's all defensive. It cannot be used for offensive purposes. I just don't know who wouldn't be for it, who's not for shooting down missiles, And it was, as originally envisioned, it would have 3 layers, land-based, which would be, if you didn't get the missile until it approached its target, you shoot it down from the land. Air-based, so you could get it mid-course, and then space-based, so you could get it in the launch phase when the missile is moving the slowest.
Right.
And it's technologically very feasible. In fact, we have a rudimentary missile defense system. We just have not pursued it with a will.
We'll talk more about that tonight. It'll be great to see you, Jim Talent. We'll have some fun and talk some serious business at Jim Talent, bipartisanpolicy.org. Thank you, as always, my friend.
Okay, thank you. See you tonight.